People are saying that the Celtics are screwed because of the loss of Kristaps Porzingis, who is out until the Eastern Conference Finals, but this really changes nothing. They are 21-4 in the regular season without KP and 1-0 in the playoffs without him, and the big reason for this is Al Horford and Luke Kornet, who replaces Horford coming off the bench. They have quality wins over teams like the Clippers, Timberwolves, and Sixers, but we won't look too far into that because, again, regular season doesn't really transfer that well to playoffs. Now, it is a huge loss because you don't get to use that versatility that you normally have that Porzingis brings you. And by the way, of course, he averages 20 points a game, 7.2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Besides what he brings to you from a statistical point of view, he also, like we said, very versatile. He can guard 1 through 5 almost on the defensive side of the ball. 7'2", crazy wingspan, shoots at 52% from the field, 38% from 3 on 5 attempts. He's a weapon, that's for sure. But the replacement is not bad. He's a seasoned pro, Al Horford, who is 37 years old. He's been there, done that in the NBA playoffs. Hasn't won a ring yet, but he's still got plenty of playoff experience. 8.6 points, 6.4 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 1 block. And they need him to get past the Cavs. It's not like they're playing the Nuggets or anybody. Whenever KP is off the court, whenever his per 36s for the regular season, 11.6 points, 8 rebounds, over a block, on 51% shooting from the field, 42% from 3. Really good numbers there from Horford. Without Porzingis, he is very strong as well. 11.6 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.1 blocks. Overall, really solid player with or without Kristaps Porzingis on the court. He averages 30 minutes per game when KP goes off or when he misses games. 52% shooting from the field, 46% from 3 on 5 attempts. Al Horford, and he can get it and go. A lot of similarities between their games and really the same strategy because instead of having Porzingis there at the 5, you just plug in Al Horford and then Luke Kornet, who is also 7'2", comes off the bench. Both of these guys can grab it and go, as we see here with Horford getting the rebound coast to coast. Nice little pass there to Jaylen Brown. Porzingis, good rebounder inside, good post scorer. He can score in a whole bunch of different ways down there. Horford can score back to the basket, can face up and score, can knock down the 3 ball, of course, both of them can, and they're both good rim protectors. Of course, KP at 7'2", Horford doesn't quite have that, especially with those 37-year-old knees, but he still is serviceable, like we said, and they also bring in Luke Kornet off the bench. I think it'll be Luke Kornet. The new piece is up to Joe Mazzulla to determine. It's between Kornet, Xavier Tillman, and Neemias Queta. Like I said, I think it would be Kornet. Tillman could also be getting some minutes there. But with Kristaps Porzingis this year, Luke Kornet played 14 minutes a game, averaged 4 points and 3.5 rebounds. Without Kristaps, he played 20 minutes, averaged 8 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. He's 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan. So obviously, this is the genius of Brad Stevens, still having this guy to come in off the bench. He's more than serviceable in the playoffs. A good quality player to have, great depth to have. And when it comes to the second round, it's still going to be centered around Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. It's not like, whoever won that series was going to change it up and make Kristaps Porzingis do all the scoring. We saw Spoelstra try to make Jayson Tatum a passer, which definitely it helped to have Kristaps Porzingis, and that could hurt them a bit, but he still averaged 22 points, 10.4 rebounds, 5.4 assists in that first round series. He only shot at 42% from the field and 29% from 3 on 6.2 attempts. However, it's still a very strong series from Tatum, averaging, especially those 10.4 rebounds, very impressive. Without Kristaps this year, he's averaging 29 a game, which was 3 more than his regular season average, to go with 7.2 boards and 4.8 assists. So definitely a few more rebounds opening up down there. 46% shooting from the field, 40% from 3 on 8 attempts. And, he was the true alpha once again whenever Porzingis is off the court, averaging, like we said, close to 30 a game with 5 assists. Now, Jaylen Brown definitely stepped up in that last series. He was their second leading scorer behind Derek White, who continues to go off. For the playoffs, he's averaging 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.2 assists on 52% shooting from the field. We won't talk about the 32% from 3 on 5.6 attempts. Not exactly elite. Without Kristaps this year, he's averaging 25 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, and 6.2 assists per game, 3.7 assists per game. So overall, really good season from Jaylen Brown again. He can continue if he can continue to do what he did last season, he'd be, or last series, he'd be better. The Celtics obviously would be better off. Maybe he even gets up to 25, 26 points a game this series. If you're enjoying today's video, make sure to the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button as it really helps out in the YouTube algorithm. As you can see here, basically everybody that watches these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if that's you, go ahead and change that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on here looking at the 3-ball, which is what the Celtics live and die by. Their 2 stars are only shooting at 30% from 3 in the playoffs, and it'll hurt to see Porzingis go, as the Celtics were the best team in the NBA this season at shooting the 3-ball. They're shooting at 39% from 3 this year in the postseason, led by, of course, Derek White, who we just talked about, their leading scorer, shooting it at a blistering 48% from 3. The huge playoff performer is great on both sides of the ball, but, I mean, he's been exceptional this year in the playoffs, 22.4 points per game, beating out Brown by 2.8 rebounds, 3.6 assists on 58% shooting from the field. And then Sam Hauser, who shoots it at a 48% clip from downtown as well on 5 attempts so far in these playoffs. We talked about Horford, who's shooting it at a 40% rate, and then Drew Holiday, who's shooting it at 37% on 3 attempts per game, as well as, bringing his every night defense as one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. Then you have Peyton Pritchard, who has really come into his own this year. He's only shooting at 27% from 3 in the playoffs. However, he has definitely come into his own this year with Kristaps on the court. Kind of interesting that this impacts him so much, but he averaged 9, 3, and 3 in 21 minutes per game with Kristaps on the court this year, or in the lineup. With him out of the lineup, he averaged 11.2 points, 4.5 assists, 3.8 rebounds on 45% shooting from the field, 40% from 3. I mean, interesting that it affects a 5'11" guard, but still, Peyton Pritchard definitely come into his own. It really stinks that we're not going to get to see this lineup in the second round. However, they will be back. Porzingis should be back for the Eastern Conference Finals. And even with that, they plug Horford right in. I mean, he's not Kristaps Porzingis, obviously. He's maybe a Walmart, elderly Kristaps Porzingis. But still, like I said, it's not like whoever won that series in the second round, which we know now is the Cavs, but it's not like whoever was going to win that series was going to make them play through Kristaps Porzingis. Yes, Porzingis is good, and yes, it definitely helps Tatum when the other team's keying in on him to have Porzingis out there, but he still has Jaylen Brown, still has Derek White. Drew Holiday, I think, will make a big step. Of course, you have Al Horford, Luke Cornett will come off the bench, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser. Overall, the Celtics team, the dynamic does not change. It's still revolving around Tatum and his playmaking ability, and then you have Jaylen Brown, Derek White, like we said, and then all of the bench pieces and their ability to shoot the 3-ball with the best of them. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to the like button and hit that subscribe button down below, as it really helps out in the YouTube algorithm. And that's, the big secret for the Boston Celtics. Al Horford is him. With that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.